Welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the place where whispers become stories and stories turn into the moments everyone talks about. Today we're bringing you an update that left our entire team stunned into silence. Take a breath, because what we're about to unpack is the kind of twist that makes even the most seasoned observers raise an eyebrow. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because you won't want to miss a single thread we pull from this unfolding tapestry. The shockwave started at dawn on December 4, 2025, when a headline turned the morning on its head and sent timelines spinning. Everything points to a seismic shift between Alina and Alp Navras. Yes, those two. Names that carry charm, power, and a fair share of history in the public eye. We're not talking about the usual ebb and flow, not a petty argument or a staged stunt. What's brewing, according to those closest to the situation, feels like a decision so big it could redraw how fans, the media, and perhaps even they themselves speak about their bond. Let's rewind for anyone who needs a bit of context. Alina, measured and magnetic, has mastered the art of keeping her private life calm while her artistry speaks volumes. Alp, steady and quietly confident, has long cultivated an image of grounded warmth and focus. Together, they've shared an energy that audiences describe as effortless. It's that unforced chemistry, on red carpets, at premieres, in rare candid moments, that has kept speculation alive for years. So when whispers turned into a chorus of rumor this week, the reaction was instant and visceral. The narrative that's taken center stage pivots on two opposing possibilities. On one side, there's talk of a secret engagement, an intimate promise sealed behind closed doors, perhaps in a courtyard lit only by candles and courage, with plans to unveil it when the time is right. Imagine the ripple effect of a wedding kept hidden in a world where nothing seems to stay private for more than a minute. On the other side, there's a softer, quieter story gathering momentum, the idea that their relationship has moved into a pause or a respectful split. Amicable, carefully considered, and explained not by drama, but by timing, goals, and the complicated math of two thriving careers. We've been hearing the murmurs for days. The breadcrumbs appeared first in the small places, captions shortened to single words, photos cropped just a bit tighter, the kinds of scheduling changes that seem ordinary until they repeat. Close watchers noticed a ring on Alina's hand in a rehearsal snapshot, the kind of delicate, vintage-leaning piece that could be a prop, or could be a sign. A friend of a friend cited a family dinner in Kadıköy that felt more formal than usual, the kind of gathering where elders speak softly and everything on the table matters. Another source swore Alp spent an afternoon in a quiet jeweler's in Nişantaşı and left without a bag. The kind of thing that means everything or nothing, depending on the day. At the same time, there's a countercurrent feeding the theory of a deliberate distance. Alina has been locked into a demanding schedule for a new project, closed rehearsals, and long training sessions, the kind that keep phones on airplane mode for stretches at a time. Alp has been slipping into meetings tied to a producing venture, sketching out a slate that would keep him behind the camera for months. Where once their calendars seemed to bend toward each other, lately they have stood firm. Not icy, not abrupt, just separate. One late-night post from Alp reading Simply Reset, paired with a horizon line. One thoughtful caption from Alina, choosing when to speak, and when to breathe, over a photo of her favorite coffee place, empty but for the morning light. These aren't declarations. They're puzzle pieces. And in a month as charged as this one, everyone is trying to assemble the picture. The media dove straight in, of course, morning shows dissecting the angle of a hand in a still frame, blogs scouring comments for likes from familiar accounts, TV panels sketching timelines with the zeal of detectives. Yet what's consistent across reports is this: there was no public fight, no bitter unfollow, no spat that spilled into a set or a lobby. Whether we're approaching a union or a parting, the tone from their camps has been clear. They're doing this, whatever this is, on their terms. We reached out to people who've actually been in the rooms. A stylist who dressed Alina for a magazine shoot last week described a quiet happiness, even if her phone wouldn't stop buzzing, before adding with a smile that the jewelry case was fuller than usual. A production assistant who's worked with Alp for years said he seemed centered, protective of his time, and oddly sentimental, mentioning that he played the same song twice between takes, the way people do when words aren't enough. Meanwhile, a family source declined to confirm anything, insisting only that respect comes first. When representatives were asked directly, the answers were reserved and nearly identical: no denial, no confirmation, just a reminder that personal milestones will be shared when the moment feels right. Fans, naturally, are living inside the suspense. Some are already designing wedding mood boards in their minds, picturing sea-facing terraces and muted roses. Others are preparing their hearts for the possibility that love can be true and still choose a different road. The comments sections are packed with good wishes, curiosity, and heartfelt pleas for clarity. It's a testament to how deeply people have invested in these two, not only as stars, but as humans who have tried to keep something tender safe in a storm of flashbulbs. Then there are the sightings, running in parallel with the Whisper network. A late dinner in Quebec, just the two of them, where they spoke softly and laughed at something no one else could hear. A morning at the airport with different flights and different gates, their steps sure but unhurried, both in dark caps pulled low. A weekend when Alina's car was seen near an art gallery that reportedly hosts intimate events after hours, and another when Alp drove out to the coast for a solitary sunrise, his camera the only witness. Are these the threads of a secret celebration waiting to be revealed? Or are they the markers of two people making dignified space? Here's the angle our team keeps circling back to: either path requires intention. A secret engagement in this industry demands planning, trusted circles, and a shared commitment to silence. A mindful separation requires even more: grace, timing, and a pact to protect each other's peace rather than chase headlines. The clues pointing toward a promise are as compelling as those pointing toward a pause. The rehearsal ring. The family dinner. The softened captions about home and belonging. And yet there are the practical realities pulling in the opposite direction: production schedules that can't bend, brand deals that expect individual visibility, scripts that demand full immersion. As for the careers we're all watching, the implications are significant either way. A confirmed engagement would propel Alina and Alp into the rarefied space of power couples who define a season. Campaigns would clamor, magazine covers would jostle for a slice of their glow, and their public image would shift from romantic speculation to emblematic commitment. A confirmed separation, especially one handled with empathy, could, in its own way, elevate them too. It would cast them as adults making choices with care, placing craft and health above expectation. In both cases, the through line is respect. It's always been their signature. While today's chatter burns brightly, something about the rhythm of their steps suggests that the pace of the official truth will be theirs to set. We've been told to keep an eye on a date circled in pencil, not ink, on a quiet calendar, a private moment that might become a statement. Perhaps a joint note, spare and honest, landing in everyone's feed with a caption so simple it can't be misread. Or perhaps nothing at all for now, just a shared glance at an event, the kind of image that speaks without asking for a caption. For those wondering about the signs, we've catalogued what stirred the pot without adding drama for drama's sake. Alina archived a handful of older photos 2 weeks ago, nothing obvious, just a soft edit of a grid that had collected too many eyes. Alp removed a pinned post tied to a past campaign, replacing it with a landscape that looked like a memory. They still follow each other, still appear at the same circles when work calls, careful, poised, and kind. If there's a wedge, it's invisible. If there's a vow, it's guarded. And then, early this morning, as headlines were still settling, a cryptic pair of posts appeared like echoes from opposite ends of the same hallway. Alina shared a close-up of her hands resting on a script, a slim band glinting without calling attention to itself, captioned, "Some stories are ours before they belong to the world." Minutes later, Alp posted a photo of a doorway opening onto a bright courtyard, writing, "When you know, you protect." Neither message confirms anything. Both say a lot. So where does that leave us? Right in the space where the public meets the private, where admiration must make room for boundaries. We're holding our breath alongside you, listening closely to every footstep without pretending we can walk in their shoes. Our approach remains the same: gather carefully, weigh gently, and respect what isn't ours to claim. We're poised for the moment when Alina or their representatives decide to speak in clear terms, whether it's a joyous nod to forever or a graceful step into separate days. Until then, we're looking at a puzzle whose every piece, large and small, tells the same story. Intention, care, and a refusal to let noise write the ending. What will this mean for the months ahead? If it's a wedding, it would rewrite the day's agenda across entertainment, fashion, and culture, because the image of two artists choosing each other against a backdrop of relentless scrutiny carries power. If it's a separation, it would set a tone just as potent, one that says love can be steady even when it changes shape, and that two people can protect each other's names long after the curtain falls on the romance. Either way, their talent, discipline, and quiet magnetism aren't going anywhere. The projects will premiere, the scripts will find them, and the work will rise. For now, December 4, 2025, will be remembered as the day the ground shifted under a story many felt they knew. The volume rose, the theories multiplied, and the image of Alina Boz and Alp Navras became, paradoxically, both clearer and more mysterious. Perhaps that's the point. Perhaps the most honest stories are the ones that hold a little space for mystery, even at the very center of the spotlight. Thank you for staying with Turkish Spotlight Secrets through every beat of this emotional cadence. You make it worthwhile to chase the facts and honor the silences in equal measure. Tell us what your heart is guessing. Do you feel a celebration on the horizon, the kind where joy hums quietly before it sings? Or do you sense a respectful farewell, the kind that honors what was and protects what will be? Share your thoughts below, and keep your notifications on. However this turns, we'll be here to unwrap the truth with care and bring you the story behind the story. Until the next chapter, take a breath. Some answers are worth waiting for, and some love stories are most beautiful in the way they choose to be told. From our team to you, thank you for trusting us to walk this tightrope between wonder and restraint. We'll see you soon, with what comes next, when it comes from them.